The Almost Perfect Podcast.
Welcome to the Almost Perfect Podcast, a celebration of fuck-ups, failures, and falling flat on your face. This is a podcast that believes you can learn from experience, but that experience doesn't have to be your own. Hi, I'm Bob Perfect, and I'm a functional fuck-up. Let's learn from somebody else's mistakes, and today we're learning from Samkelo Gambushe. Now, Samkelo is also known as the Sports Mjita, and you can catch him every single weekend throughout the day on Gagasi FM. And Samkelo is actually one of my favorite people that I met at DYR, Durban Youth Radio 105.1. DYR 105.1. Yeah, he was one of my favorite people that I met there, and he's one of the most driven people that I've ever met. Like, he, beyond almost anyone, would come into work and just get stuff done at a time where, you know, it didn't, like, it was weird because, you know, DYR was a really cool platform, but it was what you made of it, essentially. Like, you had to make the most of it to be able to move on to other places. And we get into, you know, how he managed to move on from there. And we also discuss, like, basically why I didn't. I get a little personal about it. But yeah, Samkelo gets into why he was also so driven. Like, he gets way more personal than I do. I'll tell you that much. We actually get into some pretty heavy topics on this conversation on this episode, because yeah, Samkelo's motivation is a very deep one. I'll let him explain it all. I'll let him tell you everything that's happened in his life that's led him down the path that's led him down. He'll be telling you in just a little bit. But yeah, man, he's an inspiration to me. He's someone who genuinely just his drive and his knowledge of himself almost, and not just knowledge of himself, but just the knowledge that he was going to succeed, that he would eventually. Because there were tough times. There were really tough times for him. He sold his car. I can tell you that much in the early part. He sold his car when he was working at DYR because we weren't getting paid. And so, you know, because it's a volunteer-based station. And so he eventually ran out of money and had to sell his car so that he could keep going into DYR and keep, you know, producing good radio and keep, you know, getting there early, leaving late, just doing all the things that he had to do. And that eventually got him to where he is today. So, yeah, dude, just an absolutely inspirational guy and one of my favorite people. So I'm really stoked we got to do this. And I'm really stoked you get to hear this and you get to know Samkelo a little bit better because his social media numbers need to go up, okay? So, like, we discussed that in this. And so I want you to go follow him as soon as you start listening to this conversation and go, you know what, this dude's actually really sweet. I need to know more about him. I need to know what he's doing. And if you want to get into sports or you want to get into radio, this is definitely a good starting point. Samkelo didn't actually start out wanting to do sports. He didn't know much about sports when he got into sports, but it was an opportunity to be on air and he took it with both hands. And now he loves sports. He loves it more than, like, he doesn't even want to do regular presenting. He wants to just stay in sports. And yeah, man, like I say, I keep saying I'm inspired by the dude, but I am continually inspired by the dude. And yeah, I'm stoked you guys are going to get to hear this. And yeah, if you enjoy the podcast, you know what you can do. You can give us a like. You can give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Facebook, just type the Almost Perfect Podcast. You're going to find us. On Twitter, it might be a little harder. So just go almost_podcast. Okay, you got that, almost_podcast. If you want to follow me, I'm Bob this Monster. I'm Bob Perfect on most other platforms. And I am Almost Perfect Bob on Instagram. And if you really like the podcast, what you can do is you can go to patreon.com. You can chip in a little bit of money. You can pay for this if you want. If you're listening to it for free, why would you want to pay for it? Well, I'll give you a little bit of extra stuff, you know. I'll let you suggest some guests. I'll let you ask some questions sometimes. I need to get better at doing that, but I will. We're also doing giveaways. Once again, I've got like all the stuff I need to give away for last month. I just haven't done it yet. I'm sorry, I'm behind on so many deadlines at the moment. It's crazy. I've bit it off a bit more than I can chew, but I will get to you guys. I will I'm going to announce the winners of the Poison City case of beer. There's t-shirts, there's a CD, there's a bunch of stuff going out from last month. So thank you very much to the patrons. We got to 10 patrons. Yee-hoo! Yeah, like I went yee-hoo there, not yee-ha. Like I was, anyway, whatever. That's a completely irrelevant sentence to go down. I'm like, no, just stop. Why? You said it's irrelevant and then you keep going. You keep doing that. Anyway, Where was I? The Patreon. Yeah, you can support the podcast via the Patreon. Thanks to the people there, I've managed to get some mic stands. Gonna build it up again for now. And then I'm gonna get some cool soundproofing. There's like lots of stuff that I actually need to get this podcast to be what I want it to be. And that requires money. And thankfully, I've got some of you guys to help me do that. So thank you so much for chipping in. And I'm hoping to try and give you guys some more extra content where I can. It's a one-man operation at the moment. And I'm hoping to change that as the Patreon grows. And maybe I'll get sponsorships. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. I'm trying. I have actually got another competition this month. Courtesy of the Winston Pub. I interviewed Matt, one of the owners of the Winston Pub a few weeks ago, which you can go and check out. I highly recommend that one. And yeah, we chatted, and I asked him, hey man, can we give away a bar tab and some free entry via the podcast? And he was like, yeah dude, give away a 250 rand bar tab and entry for 4 people. So one person is going to win this prize, and all you have to do to win it is you got to help me out, guys. You've got to help me out. Please go to iTunes and leave a review. Just type up a little review there. Use a fake email address if you want. I mean, use one of your burner accounts, I don't really care. It's like, you're going to have to set up an iTunes account if you don't have one, okay? I'm sorry, but I need this. I need to, rig the stats. It's voting day, and that's what we got to do, okay? It's election day, and so I'm in the spirit of things, and I figure we got to rig the iTunes vibes. So please go and review. Please go leave a review there and send a screenshot to me. You can do so via the email, almostperfectpod@gmail.com, or any of the socials that I mentioned earlier. So that's that. That's the whole spiel. I did vote today. Just got back. That's why this one's coming out quite late. I also have had so many different deadlines. Yeah, my rent's gone up since, I've moved now. So I've got to work a little bit harder, and that's causing my timelines to freak out a little bit. It's like, end game up in here. Actually, no, they said time. No, I'm not going to spoil anything. Anyway, we're going to get straight into the podcast right now. I'm not going to dilly-daddle anymore. Here it comes. It's the Almost Perfect Podcast with Samkelo Gambushe. How you living, Samkelo?
I'm good, man. What's good, boy? Perfect.
Just living it up, hanging with the homie.
It feels good to be here, but it really feels good being here, man.
Yeah, it feels really good to have you in my home. Like, you've seen the other place.
Yeah, I've seen the otother place. I must say I'm enjoying the space a lot more than I was the other place.
It's a bit of a step up,
Yeah, but definitely.
But just in general, I'm enjoying life at the moment.
Yeah.
And both of us have come quite a long way since when we met.
How long has it been now?
It's been 2.5 years, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. We've come a long way. We've come a long way.
Well, where do we meet?
Where do we meet? How did we meet in the first place?
Just at the Bat Center one day. Like,
Center.
It would have been like, you were like, we were.
Oh shit! I remember.
Were you there? Were you there the first day I was on? Like, the day that I
Oh shit! I remember. You were doing the 12 to 3.
Yeah.
And I was on the 3 to 6.
You were doing
back with Gareth.
Wait, no, it wasn't Gareth. It was Njinga.
Oh yeah,
and
Njinga
Knox.
and Knox. Yeah, because it was just after.
Who were both just fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, shit. Yeah, in their own. Yeah. So it was then, I think, 2.5 years ago. I think.
This was at DYR. So Samkelo is the Sports Mjita.
Yeah.
Who presents sports at Gagasi FM at the moment.
Yeah.
But you started out at a little known station called Durban Youth Radio.
Yeah, that's where it all started, man.
When it was lesser known. And that was back at, someone's got some bad etiquette there, doesn't have their phone on silent, acting like it's never been on radio before.
Man.
But yeah, so we met each other back at the Bat Center in the, not early days of DYR, but the early days probably in the current version of DYR.
Uh-huh.
Like, so the Bat Center was this orange box that just...
Dude. Someone remind me about it. Literally, can I just check? Literally, the first day I walked in at the DYR studios, okay, I went through the whole applying thing and applying for...
Did you apply without being in there? So you didn't come
I
didn't
didn't
hand in your CV?
Yeah, no, I didn't hand in my CV. I actually emailed my CV.
So you were like... You heard the station on the airwaves.
Exactly.
And you're like, this must be
a really cool radio station. Sounds cool, man. I definitely want to be a part of it. and then emailed my CV, man. And fast forward, and then but initially before even getting to that story, when I emailed my CV, I just wanted to be an on-air presenter, like how you were, like a normal on-air presenter. And then at the time, T, Mr. T,
Yeah.
was our programs manager back then, and then he actually said to me that there were no spaces,
On air.
on
Like,
air as an on-air presenter, and then he said there were spaces for only like sports, like if I were to do sports bulletins or something like that, they would actually consider me. And so I said, if this is going to get me closer to being
the presenter.
a presenter, then I might as well just do it. Mind you, I didn't know anything about sports back then. I was just like, I wasn't into sports like at all.
What were you into?
Like I was into rap music. I was into rap because I had this whole stage of as a rapper and like being a poet.
You
and
were a
stuff.
rapper,
dude,
and a poet,
dude.
Dog, how have we
I
never
even have stuff online, bro.
see? Like, you've got great taste in rap, and you've always put me on to good music.
Yeah, bro.
But like, I had no idea that you yourself,
dude,
used
I
to
was
be
a rapper, bro. I even won there was this competition in school where I actually won 50K off rapping. No lie, bro. We could straight up go to
Okay,
we could YouTube.
Is that how you were able to work at DBR for free for so long?
No, bro. Actually, that's a whole nother story with like how the money that I made off that, with the winning that bro, I only got craziest thing. The only thing I got from that is a laptop, bro. So the school
got the money.
Yeah. The school got like 45K because I won 50 and the laptop I'm assuming was probably like five-ish
Yeah.
K. I still have that laptop.
Is that the laptop that you use?
Yeah, it's the laptop that I use. But anyway, I was saying this when I got to DRR, like I wasn't supposed to be, like I wasn't planning on being a sports presenter. And then anyway, I sent in the demo doing a live like sports bulletin and whatever. And so Mr. T said, cool man, you can come in and you'll start. I don't know what day it was, but I just rocked up in there thinking, it was
It's gonna be a proper studio.
yeah, I was expecting like, Hollywood, like I don't know.
And had you studied anything to do with radio?
No.
So you had no experience, never had
no
mixing desk in front
experience
of you.
whatsoever. And it came like how I decided to get on radio in the first place was like literally, bro, like at the time I joined radio, I literally had nothing else that I was doing with my time, and I was just like sort of like listening to radio, and I knew like what I thought I could do this because I was listening to a radio.
I don't know.
for this amount.
Listening to South African radio, I think a lot of people think that
they can
can
do it, thinking they can do it. And I took a chance and I sent in the demo, and yeah. So we were talking about the first time that I came in the studio, and I like, bro, like I was expecting like world class equipment, and it was just this orange like box and with one computer there, like broken computer, dust all around, broken desk, the chairs,
duct tape microphone.
duct tape. I remember I had to even buy my own filter because you remember what we used to do.
You used to bring your own filter.
I used to bring my own filter and my own headphones because like the headphones that we had in the studio,
they were literally broken. Like only had one ear.
they're literally
working.
broken, bro.
And so that's how. And the weird thing was, we're producing some pretty good radio out of there.
We were. It's really crazy, man.
Because it isn't about the equipment you have. Like it really isn't. Like it is. Hey, as long as you've got a mixing desk, 2 microphones, and a playlist of music, you can produce some pretty decent radio.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, everything else helps make it better.
Yeah, exactly. Because like how we were saying that, I listened to DRR and I didn't hear anything from a listener's perspective. It's only then when I got to the studios and realized that, oh no, so
although occasionally you'd hear the tugboats on air.
You'd hear it.
One of the flaws of being in the harbor would be like
Oh,
being on
remind
air,
me.
dude. It'd be hilarious. Like
Remind
you'd be
me.
on air, you'd be mid-sentence, and then all of a sudden just a tugboat going.
Right, and you just had to apologize to the listeners. If we had a soundproof, we'd actually like we wouldn't have that trouble. But I mean, it's where we started.
It's where we started, and Like I think a lot of people don't know what DWR was like then. I mean, I think it was definitely a lot worse before we got there.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful we got there. You got
Yeah.
there just before I did, like
Yeah.
all a while before I did.
Yeah.
And then I got there, and then things started getting quite a lot better. But things for you like were quite a struggle though, because so a lot of people didn't know, but we weren't getting paid at DWR.
Yeah,
It was a
dude.
volunteer-based thing.
Yeah, dude. For me, it came at a time where it was okay. I had this lump sum amount, a lump sum, right?
Well, yeah, lump sum's a big one. Well, it's a
Like a lump sum.
Total amount.
And I had a choice of, this was just after like 2 years after high school. Yeah, some shit. I don't quite remember. But yeah. And I had an to make a decision of what do I do with this money. Do I go study, some shit that's like studying for like a job and stuff, or do I
Make a rap album.
I'm glad I didn't make a rap album, and I was done with rapping when I was out of high school. I think that stopped about like grade 12-ish.
Why'd you stop rapping?
That's like, bro, I was honest with myself. I realized that this shit is not gonna work,
Fuck.
I was like, I think that's where a lot of people like understand when we say, you can do it, like, you dreams are meant for you to hustle for them and work hard. And
One of the most heartbreaking things about being on our side of the table a lot of the time is like trying to tell people like, hey, maybe you should
Study,
something else. Like, I don't want to invalidate your dreams. Like,
yeah,
but you're not going to make it in this industry. And like, I don't want to be the person who tells you that. And then you get inspired to try and prove me wrong. And then spend
Dude.
another 7 years of your life, trying to like make a decent song. And you just waste your time because
Exactly.
it's not for you. Like,
I feel like for me, it's just being realistic. If you're not gonna make it off rapping, like you see the people around you and see the stuff that they're doing. There were people who were actually a lot doper than I was, and they were not getting the recognition that they were supposed to be getting. And I looked at myself, I was like,
if they can't fucking make it,
if
then
they
how
can't
can I?
make it, then it's probably for me, it's time for me to probably look at. I've been friends with the mic, and I remember even back in like primary school, I used to sing this like traditional songs in primary school. So I was always like in that whole entertainment vibe and media and stuff. But I think rapping was just not for me, bro.
That's dope though, like that you actually recognize that, because I think it takes people a lot longer than high school to like figure that one out.
Exactly. So coming back to what I was saying, I had this, a huge amount of money. Well, not huge when I look at
a decent sized money amount for
decent-
when your age, and like it sets you up to be able to do some stuff. But you had to obviously space it out.
I had to space it out. So I came with a plan. I realized the whole like university.
Because here's the thing, you had that money, but it's not like you were living large.
I wasn't,
Like-
so I had to make a decision, bro. Do I invest it in school? How much is a year at the UK? Is it or
Like
any
over
others?
20K nowadays.
Over 20K nowadays. Well over 20K. And I could.
I mean, yeah, I have no clue now. Like I looked like 13 years ago. So
yeah,
like,
it's probably way, like, I don't know how much it is, but it's probably way more. And I looked at it and then said, I could live for like with 20K, I could space it out and live like for 6 months with that 20K. So what I decided was I made this like I spaced the money out. So I divided it into months, and then so I could, come up with a certain amount with like a salary.
Yeah.
And then what I did was I went to DWR. So at the end of the month, I got paid. I got paid off my own salary, but I was still pursuing.
Bro, I always wondered how you were doing it.
Yeah,
because
had a car even back then.
yeah, you did have the car, because you eventually had to sell your car though.
Yeah,
so
'cause
that money ran out.
That money ran out, and I had to still continue going. And fortunately enough, bro, like, this is the craziest thing. Like when the money ran out, that's when the Gagasi FM thing like then popped out. If the money ran out before Gagasi, I wouldn't been able to continue with with the radio thing that I was doing. So I would have been doomed. So I had to take that risk, though. You know, I had to take that risk.
That's what people don't like understand about getting into radio like these days is really difficult. So there's lots of ways you can do it. There are other ways like us, but you also can study. But even if you study, you still have to get to community radio first before you get taken into the major stations usually. And getting onto community radio is actually just as hard.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we worked at the station and would have CVs coming in all day, every day. Like every day someone would show up and like, you know, it's a difficult task at a small station to manage that. You know, like I would say a lot of CVs probably didn't even get read.
Yeah,
like
a lot of them, bro.
And I think it's like that at not even just the small stations. I think at big stations, your CV probably doesn't get read a lot. I mean, you sent your stuff to Gagasi how many times?
Bro, it had been going on for well over a year. Sending stuff, not getting recognized, not
getting replies.
Yeah, no replies whatsoever. But I had to So what I did was, you know, when you're trying to reach a company and you trying to apply for a certain job and then you only have that info,
the wrong email.
Yeah, you have that info at Gagasi, just using an example, Gagasi FM, you know,
my least favorite email address in the world.
You're not really speaking to the right people, man. So what you do is then you make yourself familiar with the people that actually
find out who the program's manager is.
I found out who the program's manager was. I found out who was the head of sports was, and then started following them on social media. You know, you start making comments here and there. You start sending them stuff. You know, you
let them know that you're you get on their radar essentially.
Exactly. Like I'd go to press conferences and like stuff, bro. I went through press conferences and then like just send the audio to them, the audio from just send it to them. I know they were not there. So, you know, make them wanna be associated with you in a way. And that's how eventually I got in there. You know, it's them recognizing that I'm always here and I'm always doing shit and always just like sending them stuff for free.
And the thing is, you were like, even at DYR working your ass off the whole time, dude. Like you worked harder than almost anyone there.
Because I knew what was at stake, bro. And for me, like I came in there with a plan, and
that's the thing. I could see it. You were focused. You had, but also, what gave you that knowledge, man? Because like that's the thing. You had this knowledge that you were going to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people hope, and a lot of people have insecurity about it, but you just the whole time knew that you were going to like go further. Like, you know, that it wasn't that's the thing, it wasn't a hope. Like it didn't look like it was a hope. It looked like it was just like a matter of time. You
know, like the craziest thing is, like, take all like the successful people, like, right? Doesn't matter what you do. You could take a Jay-Z, a rapper, or it doesn't matter,
or drug dealer,
it doesn't, like,
he was both.
Take Jay-Z as an artist. you know, it doesn't, you know, with all the successful people, doesn't matter what you really do. You could be a drug dealer, a rapper, or whatever. You know, what counts is the amount of work that you put in. The amount of work that you put in. And also being realistic.
Did you never doubt that though? Like, because, I mean, for me, like, I know that it's not always just about the amount of work you put in, because you can be taken for a puss that, you know. It's definitely about putting in the work, but like, then you can get taken advantage of, and were you never worried about that, like that you were like overworking yourself at DBR, like, you know, for free there, thinking like, hey, like, was there any points of doubt, or were you just like, nah, like this is just the struggle I'm going through now, and I will no matter what make it through this?
It wasn't. I mean, I think it has to come from also like hip hop in a way, because like, remember, I'm a big hip hop fan.
Yeah.
So through hip hop, you learn all these different stories, and they tell you all these different stories, and like, say how a rapper from America,
but you never hear the stories of failure.
But bruh, like, you just have to try harder. Like, for me, like, I knew that I could, and I knew that it was just about a matter of time before people actually started recognizing that, you know, I could really do it. And that's what actually kept me going. You know, I just wanted to do it, and it's this thing of like seeing where it's gonna go. You know, seeing when it's gonna go. Like putting in. I know for me, I got pleasure from, you know, working from 3 to 6, because it wasn't working from 3 to 6 like we had to prepare.
It's working from like 11 until
From
like,
11 until 6, because you prepare before that. It was making sure that I prepare the best of my ability,
and you always prepped up
and
hard.
I always prepped up hard. And what I used to do is take the recordings after I got done with the show and whatever, and I always went back home and kind of like listened to it and listened to where I could improve on, like how I could pronounce this word better. And like I even asked you, like saying like, you know, different, you know, like
you would often ask me like about stuff
like
to make
ask
sure.
different shit, like different synonyms, and like how I could say this better, how I could, you know,
phrase things in different ways,
that's what eventually equipped me with like the skills and like the know-hows and how to do it. And
so you're
and
just
stuff.
making me realize that, like, you know, as much as I enjoyed being on radio, it really wasn't my passion, because I don't have any recordings of me on radio for like the 2 years I was there.
I could pull out a recording that probably like, okay, say 2 months from when I started, because I knew what I needed to do. Like I knew and another thing is just life experiences, bruh. Like I went through a lot growing up. I'm still young anyway, but like growing up, I went through a lot of experiences which kind of, you know, viewed life in a differently, in a
Like,
completely different light.
Anything you want to share?
Okay, like I don't know, like the passing of both my parents from like cancer and stuff, you know. That's why
I knew both your parents had passed. I didn't know it was both from cancer, man.
That's why I even worked as hard as I did, because I knew like I had no one to go back home to. Like I was the only one. Like it was really about me. If I fail at this, then my whole life is fucked.
Yeah,
that was
like
it.
You have no safety net.
Yeah, it's like if I fail at this, my whole life is fucked. You know, so I had to make sure, and I had to make sure that I do it the best way that I.
So for you, it's pure survival. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was just pure survival.
It wasn't just ambition. Like it's.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. Like O's are there for like different reasons. Like people get into like radio for
their egos.
Yeah, like whatever they want to be.
90% of the time, it's for their egos.
Yeah. So coming back to the story I was telling you about. So when okay, so my mother passed first, right? So she's the first one to pass away, and then my dad, I think was in grade 7. I remember I was 13 at the time, you know. And then my dad broke the news to me. I think I was about 12 like 12ish, and he told me that like, listen, your mom has cancer, blah 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 blah. Obviously, back then you don't know what cancer is when you're 11 years old, 12 years old. So it's like, cool. Like I hope she gets better, and you know. Stuff.
Yeah, because you get flu.
Yeah,
like...
and she passed on, right? Fast forward, and then my dad passed on. I think about probably 6-7 years later, he passed on.
You guys don't live like near Wentworth or like near the engine refineries or anything like that.
Nah. And my mom had oral cancer. My mom had oral cancer. My dad had stomach cancer. You know, so it's
different kinds.
Yeah, it's different kinds. So, but anyway, so my mom passed, and 7 years later, my dad passed from like, you know, stomach cancer and shit. But you know, obviously, as a guy, a man, like my mom passed, and then my dad had to get another, like, gotten like a girlfriend, whatever, you know, whatever.
Tried to move on.
Try to move on, basically. And so when my dad passed on, this girlfriend
tried to hustle.
Yeah, not even tried. She succeeded, bruh. She succeeded at doing so. Like, this is what happened, right? So when my dad passed on, this chick, I'm not even gonna try to put some respect on her name or whatever.
No, dude, like this shit happened with my mom's dad and stuff, and like it's happened with so many families. It's
fucking crazy, bro. So what happened was she took everything in the crib, bro. Literally everything, arguing that they bought this shit together with my dad. Now my dad is not there anymore. So what can I do? I'm fucking I was like probably
you've got to hire a lawyer. You've got to
dude, all this
and you would have been
different
like
type of shit. Yeah. And she took everything in the house, dude, literally everything, like everything. The only thing I was left with was a radio set. That's how I was listening to a lot of East Coast radio back then. That's how I actually got into radio.
That is some weird fucking serendipity fucking...
That is how I got into radio.
I don't think serendipity is the right word, but yeah.
And like what my whole intention while doing this, I was just trying to prove that you can fucking turn a negative experience into something positive and you could leave off that. So what she was doing at the time was trying to fucking take everything, make sure that I don't amount to anything, right? So in my head, I was just like, flip the whole experience around. You know, use that shit as inspiration. Look at the stuff that I'm doing now based off that shit. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be in radio right now.
Yeah, things would have probably gone a bit differently.
Probably a bit differently than they are now. So it was that the whole thing, even me when I was on radio, the reason why I worked as hard as I did was also to prove to myself, bro, that you can literally bounce back from whatever setback that you get, and you could like turn that into an advantage. You know?
Man, I mean,
that's how I got into
those
it.
are some pretty fucking hectic setbacks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you went through that, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I am, but it is impressive that you have managed to turn it around.
Yeah.
And like that helps me understand you so much better now, man. Like just knowing your motivations, because for the longest time, like I only found out about your parents quite a while into it, and as I said, I didn't even know it was cancer. I'd never asked like how or why, because I mean, I figured if it's something you wanted to talk about, you would.
Yeah.
But obviously, like it's not like an easy thing to.
It wasn't. It wasn't like it was the. You know when you have somebody that's
I can't even imagine it,
ill in the house. The whole energy in the house, bro, it's just like you get back to the crib and it's like
just depressing.
It's
man.
depressing.
Like,
it's
properly,
depressing.
like,
Yeah, it's depressing.
And it's just you staring it in the face, and like and it's also horrible because just with cancer, sometimes people do get better. So you like have
you're
a
hoping
hope.
for. You're
like
hoping
you know,
for.
it's.
I remember this one time. I'm sorry but like I just remember.
Dude, talk, please.
I remember this one time, bro, because like my dad was like I'd called in because when my mom passed, I mean, like it was just me and my dad. I mean, she'd occasionally come, the chick.
Yeah.
She'd occasionally come, but most of the time it was just literally me and my dad, right? So this one time, he always used to get ill and stuff, so I'd always have to call in the ambulance and stuff and whatever. So this one time, I think this was the last time really that I took him to the hospital. He never came back. So in the emergency room, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
They like we got there. It was a Kingsway Hospital, right? We got there and there was these two ladies and they spoke in Afrikaans, you know. So I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could just, you know, I could just feel from like the whole vibe in the room or whatever. And I, you know, like some Afrikaans words actually sound like, you know,
like English words.
Yeah. The only thing I heard there was like stage 4 in the whole conversations, and I knew that shit, you know, it's you know, it's too far. It's shit is about to get down. But also I was just like kind of hoping that, you know, it's just, you know,
man, and I think it's one of our biggest fears. Like, I mean, I've literally been scared of that my whole life, like just of that happening to my mom and dad, because it happened to her dad. Her dad, she was a nurse. She stopped being a nurse because like she treated him for a little bit. Like she was at Addington Hospital.
Yeah.
And so she just like couldn't deal with it afterwards at all. Like she quit. Like, and she's just told me stories for years about what it's like watching someone die from cancer. And I'm sorry,
it's the craziest thing, bro. It's the craziest thing. But all in all this.
But it's
it's
you can't change the past, and you have instead turned it into your future, man. You've gone, well, you sat down with yourself and were like, who the fuck am I gonna be? And at first you were like, well, I'm gonna be Mr. Radio Presenter, and then you became Mr. Sports Mjita.
Yeah.
And now so tell me about that. Actually, tell me about like So you were like, cool, there's a spot as a sports guy. I'm going to become a sports guy.
Oh, tell you about that.
And now all of a sudden you have to start giving a fuck about sports.
Dude, that was the craziest thing, but like I played soccer when I was growing up, but I had to dish that shit because it wasn't. Bro, kids used to make fun of me all the time because like I wore glasses and shit, and couldn't see the ball without the glasses, and it was weird for me to play like football without the glasses. So I had to always wear my glasses, and it was like
so
weird.
You could see.
Yeah, it's like weird. Kids would bully you, bro. Like make all like so.
The kids are the fucking worst.
Yeah, so I stopped. Fuck, I'm done with this. So I stopped, and I went into this whole era of like fucking hip hop and stuff.
I mean, that's cool though, because I mean, hip hop's at least like, you know, sport's cool, but hip hop teaches you a lot. Like, if you listen to the right hip hop, you can learn a lot about the world.
Yeah, exactly. And then I did hip hop, and then I got back to sports. Then when I was trying to apply for this radio shit, and then bro, I had to go back and fucking teach myself how to watch a soccer match, like
what's offside?
Yeah, what's offside? Rugby was the hardest thing.
Oh fuck, dude, rugby is just the dumbest sport.
Rugby was the hardest thing. I remember this one time. The
rules for that sport are silly,
bro. I remember this one time, right? So, I mean, you know, like rugby, how they have like phases, you know, like in 22 or in the 10 or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I'd mistakenly.
There's different rules. And
there's different rules, right? So at this one time, I said on Twitter, because I was trying to be active on Twitter as well and shit, trying to push my brand out there, but I wasn't like quite right with my knowledge and shit, you know. So I said, I don't remember, I think it was the Sharks or something. I said they were leading by 20. I don't know what the actual like points were, but I just said something. I'll just make it an example, like 22 points to 10. And then I said in the third phase, or I said in the second phase or something like that, and that's completely wrong. I was trying to say in the second half, but I said in the second phase, and somebody on Twitter actually called me out for that, and I had to delete the tweet.
Because so in phases in rugby is like, you know, each time the ball like goes to ground.
Yeah. And they build it up, and they build it up. You get to your 22s, and that's like really close to the other person. Like whatever. So and then I made a mistake about that. But I was just like, nah, bruh, you know, I need to learn like I need to make myself familiar with all the different sports, and fucking, I went back, bro, and like did research and everything. And as time went on, I actually realized that, fuck, this is what I want to do. Like this, being a sport presenter, I think I'm enjoying it a lot more than I would.
What do you enjoy about it?
I don't know, bro. It's just like it has become a part of my life, if to put it in that way. Because if you were to walk at my posy, like switch the TV on, the only thing you'd see there's Super Sports 200 Blitz. I'm constantly trying to know what's going on, and just always be up to date with stuff that's going on, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying going to these.
The thing is, why though? Like, what about it like makes it exciting, makes it enjoyable?
I think for me, like, remember I told you I was into football back then and whatever, and I'm only realizing
because you get to learn more now. Like as you're going along, it's not like you're coming into this as someone who knows everything. Yeah, you're coming into this as someone who's learning.
Yeah, you're constantly learning, bro. You're constantly learning, and a difference. It takes you to all these different events, and you see like different types of like. I could go to a rugby match at Kings Park, a completely different audience to when I'd go to a Moses Mabidas. So you get to interact with all these different people, coaches. You get you see sport in a completely different light. I know for people, they might not notice this.
Although, don't you get bored of having the exact same fucking interview with like coaches all the time? They always say the same shit.
It's that thing of, when a season, like I'd make an example with the Sharks and the shit that's going on in there right now.
I have no clue. I'm not on radio. I have no clue what's going on in the world. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, okay, the shit that's going there, at the Sharks, right? So when a season starts, they tell you all this. Okay, so this year is what we're planning to do.
Yeah.
So what makes it exciting is that 10 games later, and then you reference that first,
Alright, so
and then
that's
you
how you do
reference,
it. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
that's like. But then you said like, but coach, this is what you guys said, and these were your plans at the beginning of the season, and then like what changed, you know? So it's exciting.
Oh, you know,
and-
sometimes plans don't work out, and you have to come up with the plan B. And you know, we're trying our best, and you know, we'll see how things go on Saturday. The
we'll
guys
work
are
harder
yeah,
the next time.
yeah, the guys are confident about this weekend, eh?
Yeah, but for me, but for me is what makes it exciting is that okay, fine, I've been doing this for like say for my fourth year in, not sure, but probably my fourth year in radio now. What's exciting is that there's still a lot more shit that I could still do still in this.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
I could
I mean-
still like. This is not even the like people would look at you and say, you've arrived. You went from community radio station to now commercial, and
But you're on the weekends, and I assume you want to be on the weekdays.
you-
Like
even with that, even bigger shit than that. Like, okay,
TV.
like you can't rule out anything, bro. That's why you have to be always being open into like different types of shit.
Are you sending tapes to TV?
Not yet, because I know I'm not ready. I know I'm not ready for that.
Because I know you're the kind of guy who would be like, yeah, no, TV would be great. Meanwhile, you've just been like sending stuff, and
yeah.
next week you're gonna be like, yeah, no, but you'll see me on SABC. But
Yeah, that's another thing, bro. Like, don't just start talking about shit before it happens.
yeah, no, like I mean, you told me about like sending tapes, but I don't think you told anyone else. Like,
Yeah, it's like just keep it to like what that does is that like people are gonna be at your face when it doesn't happen now.
yeah, I
Now you feel
learned
this-
that the hard way. Like, but people didn't come at me. I just felt disappointed.
Yeah.
you know, like I would announce stuff about that I was working on, and it would fall through. Even recently, it happened, and like I was just like, oh.
And for you, even just speaking about shit makes you feel like you've actually done it.
That's the problem. I've read that as well.
Yeah.
So you get that satisfaction.
You get
of
that,
just
and you
saying-
don't push as much as you.
Yeah, because the second you go,
Yeah.
hey guys, I'm writing a new book. Like
You feel like you've written the whole book.
Exactly. You get that gratification of having told everyone, hey guys, I just wrote a new book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read that as well, which is pretty messed up, and like, which is why you do have to worry about it. But at the same time, I've got to promote my shit, so I'm gonna tell you, hey guys,
Yeah,
this is coming
yeah,
out.
this is
like,
coming
this is
out.
what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, because I need people to know about things, and I need to tell them 30 times at least,
So that when it comes out,
then they're gonna
Yeah,
go,
and
why
support.
didn't you tell me?
bro. Yeah, it's just those things, bro. It's just hard work. I don't know, hard work, and what inspires you to do what you do. Like I remember crossing railway lines with back center. And
Yeah,
shit. That
yeah,
was
yeah.
the craziest thing, bro. But even then, like you're gonna struggle before shit starts popping off.
Yeah, man. I feel like I'm not still in my struggle phase, that's for sure, but I'm still struggling. Like, you know, I've done a lot of different things. I've come through a lot, but I'm still definitely nowhere near fucking made it.
And like this thing of people saying, okay, I've done this thing for 5 years now. Why is it not popping off?
Dude, I was chatting to Dylan Oliphant. He's done his thing for 10 years. He's been doing comedy for 10 years, and he still feels like he's nowhere near where he wants to be.
Dude, it's just, I don't know when like your time actually comes, but say like everyone has their own time and shit start popping off for them. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But if you really honest with yourself and about what you're doing, and you're realistic, don't lie to yourself about shit, bro, and say shit is gonna pop off when you know.
But people want to pop off when they're young, and they also, I think people don't see a future like beyond like their 20s. Like I'm talking even for myself. I didn't think I would live past 30. So like when I was younger, I didn't have like hopes and dreams really. Like I mean I did and I didn't. At times I didn't, and other times when I was like just a nihilistic, depressive, fuck it, I definitely didn't. I was just like live hard, party hard, fucking die young. Sort of vibe. So it. Yeah, like definitely didn't have the motivation. And I also think, young rappers and young people like that these days, they, see the extravagant lifestyle. And I also think a lot of they want to be a part of that. And like they don't see like, their 40s or 50s or anything like that. They only see, I want to be living that life now. They see what's happening. And because it is a reality for some people, That's what happens. You know, like 10 rappers a year, maybe, like, you know, become probably more than that. But, you know, out of the thousands upon thousands of people trying to achieve that goal, that shallow fucking goal, you know, they just don't. Most people don't even achieve that. So that's why I like what you say with be realistic, you know, like know your thing. And also know that things take time, because things do take time. That's been my thing. Is like, once I decided, I guess I want to live a little while, like, that was also it. It was like, I know nothing I do is going to be massively successful immediately. I want to learn the skill sets, essentially. I want to, because for me, with comedy, even with this, I think in the 30s and 40s is really where you start to get good at stuff, because you have life experience, you have experience 100%, you know,
100%,
and that allows you to then start producing work without fear, without a lack of confidence, without, you know, because even when you're faking that confidence, you can hear it. Like, well, I can hear it because I'm a bit older now, so you can hear when people are faking their shit, like, and most people are faking their shit. And so it takes time to gain that confidence, I guess.
They said fake it until you make it.
And we all do, because because everyone.
But that's the point, though. That's the thing, though. If you never really try shit, you know, you're never gonna know what's going on.
But the key is to also, when you try shit, know if it's for you or not.
Yeah, that's also being like, it comes back to this, what we're saying, like being realistic.
But try everything, man. Like,
try everything. Give it a shot, and don't, like, you know,
but give it a real shot, though.
Yeah, give it your 100%. So even with me, like, I would have been okay with my money running out and me not being able to accomplish this mission that I was on,
because you tried.
Because I tried. Like, I really did try.
Well, did you have a plan B?
I didn't have a plan B. That's the craziest thing, bro. Like,
was there nothing in your mind?
There was literally nothing, bro. It was, bro, we're doing this. End of story.
You see, that's like all my fallback plans are all just other schemes. Like,
I feel like, you know, while having a plan B is smart, but it also leaves you with room for, like you say,
room to bail.
Yeah, it's like, maybe. But if you don't have a plan B, and that's the risk, obviously a lot more riskier than having.
I've done it the other way. Like, I've literally made sure I've got like 30 different like fingers and 30 different 30 fingers and 30 pies, just to make sure that I can always be afloat, so that if something fucks out, I've always got something that I can do.
Like, bro, for me it was just, dude, are we doing this or not? And I was like, okay, let's do it. But
then. It's a matter of like different necessities, like different.
My whole thing is, I would have probably came up with something better. I don't know how long it probably would have taken me, but I would have
yeah, you would have done something else.
Yeah, find a job at a call center or something.
Fuck that.
That's the thing. You also have to weigh your options.
No, I mean, like, in terms of if you need a fucking job, like, go for it. Like, obviously
you go for it. But if
you can do something else, like, obviously do something better suited to your skill set.
And I had a job at a call center.
Yeah, I've got friends who've done call center jobs and have turned them like fucking stand-up comedians that I know.
Yeah.
And because of their call center experience, and that's the thing, like, I realize I have such a different perspective to people, because while, you know, I might have grown up a bit poorer, I don't know if I've ever been, again, I've been desperate, but not in the same way as other people. So
yeah,
like, I just, while there's often, like, you know, like the rent money, like my whole life that's always been an issue, like with my mom and with myself.
Yeah.
But it's never like, felt like, you know, I've had to do shitty jobs and stuff like that, but I've always felt like I was going to be okay, you know? Whereas like, like with other people, like I feel like
really,
they have to like
do or die type of thing.
So, but I've always kind of had, even, you know, with my mom, like, struggling, like, that safety net, I guess. She's always been there for me. And so you're making me realize just how lucky and grateful I am, even for this, you know, she, like, was poor and didn't have a lot. She's still having her there, gave me so much, like, and always gave me that security.
Yeah, man, definitely. You've got to. I think those are the things that there's some things that we take, like waking up in the morning, bro. We take, like being healthy. We take that shit for granted,
Yeah,
bro. Wait until you get sick and realize how fucking amazing it is to like waking up every fucking morning and being healthy and
Dog,
like.
that's why, like, if you open my fridge at the moment, there's a bunch of fucking vegetables and fruit now. Like,
Dude, I
there's
mean,
Coke Light, there's Coke Zero. There isn't even Coke anymore, dude. Like, I'm fucking, like, because I know I'm gonna get diabetes if I carry on.
yeah,
this
if you
way,
carry
dude.
on this way,
I might even have it already. So, like, I need to, like, just, I'm going to go get tested soon. But, like, yeah, dude, like,
But it's good that you actually like for I feel like for me, some people just go through life. I don't
dude,
know.
I want to go through life like that. I want to do that. I want to ignore it. I want
No,
to.
but you
But
cannot.
I know the realities, man. Like, I
You
know
cannot.
that one day I'm just going to, like, have a heart attack at, like, 40.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, these days, that's not really what I want. When I was younger, I definitely
So
was
you
like,
don't
fuck
care
it.
if-
Like,
yeah.
you know, I drank and smoked and did dangerous, dumb shit because I didn't care if I died. And now, you know, I kind of realized that maybe in my 40s and 50s, I might still be able to do some decent shit. So, might be worthwhile to stay relatively healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And like learning from you hear this thing of learning from in this Zulu, there's a saying that says indlela ibuzwa kwabaphambili. So like learning from like all the folks and how things are done and like learning from shit that happened in the past and like with the same
Well,
shit.
the intro to this show is kind of like that. Like, it's learning from other people's mistakes.
Is
Like,
it?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. That's the you know, for me, when my
We're
dad
learning from people's experiences, but yeah.
when my dad passed, I smoked a lot of guai after that. Like cigarettes, I was like really like fucking. I was like I used to like.
I can see that. The times I've smoked in my life have definitely been like my lowest point.
Yeah,
Like,
do boxes, bro, every single day. Like, you know,
like I smoke
20,
weed all the time, but
like,
cigarettes, like, I don't
yeah,
smoke.
at
Like,
20, like that's when that. But then that's the thing. Then I made a decision. I was like honest with myself. I'm saying,
because you
dude,
don't guai now.
no, I don't.
You haven't guaied for as long as I've known.
Yeah,
you, but-
yeah. That was before the whole thing, even before. So even me, when coming to DRR, I wasn't like on guai or anything like
Yeah.
that. Because like I realized, bro, my dad and my mom's both passed on from cancer. And I'm
there you
out
are,
here
busy
smoking
just-
guai. It's like, how am I learning from like,
And that's almost like insulting to their legacy.
yeah,
Like,
it's like, bro, like even with them that wherever where they are or whatever,
yeah.
like imagine they wouldn't be proud of you. Like you doing the same shit that
It would be like
led
you
me to
didn't-
the
yeah.
grave, you know. And you doing it like, what did you learn from my life in a way? So I was
Exactly.
like, cut this shit off, bro. Try to make like wise decisions and then stick to the things that you said you were gonna do, bro. I feel like
you're not a spiritual person either. Hey, have you ever been, or are you? Like, from my conversations, you come across as an atheist. So
I won't like for me, I don't subscribe to like a certain religion or whatever, but I take whatever I can from all the
Okay.
different religions.
okay, so you're not atheist, just anti-religion essentially. Because
Yeah.
a lot of the conversations we've had, you've said a lot of things that are like anti-religion. So it's more like anti-certain aspects of religion.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
all about. I feel like for me, it's just yourself, bruh. The God that we speak about and everything is like everything that is being referenced out there. It's literally just yourself. Like they say, I'm not like one to speak on the Bible or whatever. Like when you pray, even when you could pray silently, the only person that can hear that God is able to hear you when you like, if you're
Yeah.
being realistic about that, even who hears
talking
you
to
when you pray,
yourself.
you're talking to yourself. So
That's-
everything comes from the self.
That's how I
like.
feel.
Yeah, that's my whole point.
Yeah,
And-
I'm 100% with you there actually. Like, that's why I'm not like, I'm not spiritual. I'm not in any sort of way. Like, it's just not for me. Like,
yeah. For me, I take like
the
different
philosophies and
yeah
stuff.
different
Like,
things. Like I gravitate. For me, if I were to be like, someone had to come with me at the knife and it's like, which religion? What are you? I think I'd say maybe like being Buddhism or something like that. If I were to be, but even with that, I just say
even that's got its own doctrine.
yeah. Even with that, it's just like I feel like with that, it just teaches you about like yourself in a way, you know, that you're not dependent on anything in the world.
A lot of Buddhist teachings to me are just like, who doesn't know this? Like,
You know,
it's common sense.
It's common sense.
But also a lot of the Bible's common sense. Also, a lot of the Bible is just not common sense at all. It's the exact opposite. I haven't read the Quran, so I can't say anything about it.
Yeah, I can't comment on that.
And people to give you stuff out of context. But like, I have read the entire Bible multiple times. I know that book, so I can comment on it.
Right.
And that's why I'm an atheist. Is just like, I know, like I've read, like, and that's the thing. Like, and I get it, like, because all the religions are kind of same in that way, and that like they're all selling you the same thing, essentially. And I'm not buying it. Like whatever. Like, if you're not like, don't be homophobic because your God tells you to. Don't be misogynistic because your God tells you to. Like if you ignore all those parts of the Bible and keep calling yourself a Christian, then we're cool. But if you're one of those people who's like, no, being a Christian means women are subservient and this and that, then you and I are not going to be cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like people like need like the Bible or some holy scripture to guide them as to what's right and what's wrong. Like, can't you make that up? Can't you tell from wrong?
We all take guidance, but like, I think getting it from one place is scary. I think getting it from one authority, like, is a problem there. Like, you know, I think it's good to, you know, read some of what the Bible has to say, read some of what, you know, other philosophers have had to say, what other, you know,
open your
what
mind
history is showing us. That's
open your mind a bit.
Exactly. Lots of people have thought about these questions for a long time.
Yeah.
But before,
and people are just straight up scared, bruh.
But that's the thing. People don't want to read more about it a lot of time or learn more about their own religions because, or they do, but they only want to learn it from the one side and they only want to learn how to argue for their side. Because I mean, I went to a Christian school. Like, I learned how to argue for Christianity very well. And like they teach they give you the tools, bro. They give you the tools. And once you really then start looking around at everything and you start seeing how it all doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of smart people in religion arguing a lot of dumb ideas in really clever ways. And like once again, I'm still cool with all of it. Like, it's totally believe what you want. Like,
that's me.
Like, I'm secular.
I don't have an issue with like anyone, but I do.
But just as long as we can all then agree on the rules of society matter more than the rules of your God, but people don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have issues no matter what until that can kind of come to terms, I guess. But yeah, I mean, also the problem I have is just the scams. Like, churches are scams, dude. Like, in South Africa,
it's crazy.
I mean, it's always kind of been a bit of a scam, like the 10% of your salary thing. Like, you know, I mean, there's mega churches.
People waking up and like
Ray McCauley, dude, fucking, like, that dude's been coining it for years and years and years as a TV pastor. And now, you know, other guys are just taking what he's done and taking it into the communities.
Yeah. And people are so gullible, bro.
Unfortunately, they are. Like, because they haven't been educated. They don't have time to read books, you know, like, on philosophy.
I think it's this whole thing of just taking whatever that is being presented to you.
Because you're trusting the person, because the person's telling you they're trustworthy, and everyone around you is telling you that they're trustworthy.
Nah, you should trust yourself more than you do another person, bro.
But not everyone's...
Not everyone is like that anyway.
Yeah. And also, like, because I guess if you're growing up, like, being told, because taken to the church, your parents are telling you, trust these people because they trust those people. And, like,
and it's like you probably do the same things to your kids as well. Yeah. Because you took it from your parents and they took it from their parents. It's just like...
I mean, that's literally how it's gone since about 50 years after Jesus died. I think that was, like, when the first book was written, or maybe about 80 years afterwards. So it's taken, so that's when the stories like started. And now since then, just because of people passing those on to their kids, and also because of the church being completely and utterly fucking violent, murdering people, spreading the gospel whilst doing it, throwing books out, read about the Catholic Church sometime, people. Great history. Wonderful stuff. You should give all your money to them to help rebuild fucking Notre Dame. Anyway, I feel like that was a little bit of a weird digression, but we have chatted about these things before, and like I was just wondering now, because you mentioned you don't know like where your parents are, and like so do you ever talk to them, like, or like do you ever have conversations with with yourself, like imagining that they're there, or like,
you know, you have dreams and those sort of things, and but as to like talking to them and stuff, you I don't know, you feel the sense of like you still feel their presence. Yeah, their presence. You know, you still feel their presence and stuff. And the craziest thing, as long as I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to, then obviously, you know, I feel good about it. And you know, it's just like, for me, it's a matter of just doing what I need, what I'm supposed to, that shit that I know that I'm supposed to be doing. And with regards to ever talking to them, type of stuff like that, you'd have your dreams, but nothing out of the ordinary, shit like that.
No, like I just like, like, because I imagine like some people pray to their parents, like, kind of thing, but like with you not having that like religious experience, I couldn't imagine like do you ever talk in your head to yourself, like just imagining like like your mom or dad are there, like you're having a conversation with them?
Nah. I talk to myself like with regards to myself and the things that I need to improve on and the shit that I need to do, and those sort of things. I mean, I can barely remember what my mom even looked like, bro. It's crazy. Like the experiences, they fade so.
Someone when you're young, I can imagine.
Yeah, because they fade so quickly, bro. And there's this idea in your head that, like, you know, this is what my mom's used to look. I was looking at my baby pictures the other day, dude. I'm. You could say this was me. This isn't me or whatever. But I'm not the same person. They probably wouldn't be the same people as
they would look
back then.
Obviously, yeah.
But you know, just to say that I don't. But they forever in my, you know,
in your heart,
in my
like
heart,
obviously,
and those sort of
you're always
things.
trying to just obviously like make good on their memories as well, like with your own successes.
Make good on their memories. You know, because I still stay at
your place,
at my place, my parents, you know, home, and just making sure that shit is taken care of. The crib is still the same as it was when they're still around. I'm not doing some fuckboy shit. And, you know,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways that can go, man. Like, there's a lot of ways that can go.
You know, I'm just making sure that I'm doing my, you know, I feel like my parents also trusted me a lot with, like, different things. So, I mean, maybe it's why I'm the person I am today is because of that. And I would never do anything to, you know,
ruin things.
Yeah, I'd never.
But did you feel like you were ever close to ruin, like with DYR? Like, because like I said, you sold your car. So how did that feel? Like,
it was
to have to do that. Because so now I imagine your money was running out.
Yeah.
And you needed another, like, what, 20K to get through the next,
get through
4 months?
Yeah, it was hard, man. I won't lie, it was hard having to take taxis again, bro. Like, I wasn't even used to walking and shit.
Yeah, you see me, like, I just fucked up my car and the other one got stolen. Like, so, like, the head gasket blew on the one, my other car got stolen. So for me, it wasn't even a decision. Like, it was,
you just had to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was just like, I'm gonna get another car anyway.
Okay.
So this is for me to...
just temporary.
Yeah. I think that's how I even came to the decision. I was like, I'm letting this thing go now because I'm going to get another one soon.
That belief is impressive.
That's what I was hoping.
It's taken a little while though.
It's taken a little while, but definitely.
But you got a salary now. Like,
yeah.
You're working weekends, so I can imagine it's probably still a decent salary, but it's still a weekend salary.
It's still a weekend salary, you know.
It's going to take a little while to get.
Exactly. I mean, it's the same thing, you know, with where I'm at. I'm still applying the same rules. You know,
trying
nothing
to get further up the ladder.
Yeah, it's like
working your ass off each day.
Exactly. I've seen that stuff, it actually works, right? So why not continue doing
Yeah,
the same thing that I was doing. Might be DYR might have been a smaller platform that what Gagasi is,
but there's still,
but it's still the same. It's still
but you can still do bigger things in Gagasi, and
Exactly.
also like, you know, even externally, there's still an
Exactly.
entire world out there.
there's the entire South Africa out there.
And there's still, I mean, you're still kind of new in the game. You've only been doing this for like 4 or 5 years.
Exactly.
But that's also impressive. You made it to Gagasi without studying and, yeah, just being on air.
Yeah, being on air, but I feel like also like with these creative things that we do, be it radio, like TV
Doing
or-
them as everything.
yeah, let's like do it.
But
no,
But it's hard to do it. It's hard to just get a slot, dude. Like, I mean, I was lucky as fuck. Like, I started out just doing the gig guide, man. Like,
Yeah.
I would come in on Friday mornings, and that was because Kevin
And I
offered
think-
it to me because of Durban is Yours and
Yeah.
stuff. And I took the opportunity from there. Like, you know, I was like, yo, like, let me send a demo. I'd like to do more. Like, I don't want to just do, like, come in for 5 minutes every week.
Exactly, bro. I feel like the stuff that you like the stuff that you do also on the side, and like all the things that they come into play when you so if you're trying to get into radio, even community radio, and no one is noticing you, like
Start a podcast.
start a podcast. You know, start a podcast, and you know they're gonna like people are gonna recognize you.
Like, the sound quality won't be as good as this,
Exactly.
but you use your phone. You can start a podcast.
You could
Anchor,
start a
you can download Anchor on your phone right now, and you can podcast.
Bro,
like
that's
that.
how you get started.
Yeah.
You know, that's how like people say they want to do stuff, but when the opportunity presents itself for them to do stuff, and they're not really willing to work.
Yeah.
I think that is what separates like the people that actually get shit done and the people that stay hoping for shit.
Yeah.
You know,
That-
it's like just do it. Don't like. I mean, I could say radio is very congested and there's 1,000 of other people.
Oh yeah, that's the
and
thing. I'll tell you, don't even fucking try. Like,
if you're gonna look at it
but
from
also,
that perspective.
I tell people not to try just because it's like, if you then take that advice, you were never gonna make it.
Yeah, it's just that. I don't know, man. I guess you just evaluate what's gonna work for you and what isn't, and
But
just
if you are trying to get into radio, just know it's incredibly congested.
yeah, it is congested. But I mean, we're not saying
But
this
the cream
to
always
say,
rises to the top.
exactly outwork your competitors,
Because
man.
there's also people who are too comfortable. There's people who are lazy.
Exactly.
There's people in any industry that you're in that aren't working the hardest. And if you work harder and get seen working harder.
Yeah.
That's also the thing is there's no point working harder and hoping someone...
Get hard and put yourself
that-
out there, man.
Because I was thinking, it wasn't like you were just working hard and like
in silence.
in silence. Like,
Bro, I'd go live on like videos and different type.
yeah, you were
Go
doing...
live on Facebook, go live on Twitter, on Instagram,
And,
post.
and that's the thing, even with like, I mean, because at the time you didn't have huge followership, but you were like, fuck
Exactly.
it. Like, I'm just
I'm
going
gonna
to...
even now I don't.
Yeah.
I think my Instagram is like 235,
Hey,
but I'm
that's-
posting.
That's bullshit. I always must follow you. Like, if people want... What's your handle?
It's Sports Mjita, I think.
All
I
one
thi-
word.
Yeah, Sports Mjita.
I'll put it
Different,
in,
yeah.
I'll put it in the show notes.
That's like 235, but even with that, I'm cheating myself like I'm Robert Marawa, who has like 1.2 million, you know, because it doesn't like it only takes one person for them to look at your profile and they
see how
they
professional
could,
you are.
Yeah, they could just put you on like that. You don't need like, and then the market could open up and within a day or two get 500,000 followers in a day or two.
Exactly, because all of a sudden now, because
all of
you've
a
been
sudden now,
presenting
yeah.
good content the whole time.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you do need to get more people following you on Instagram.
Yo, just whatever. Twitter, Instagram, yo.
Although, do you find that like that's a weird thing? Like, you know, with radio is that you're reaching so many people like every day, but at the same time, like, you know, they don't follow you on like social. Some people like, but even like the big guys, like I've noticed, like even like the other radio, I can actually just talk about any radio station now. I'm not on DYR, so like there's no worrying about like repercussions. But like like I look at like the East Coast stuff, and like, you know, their social medias like for their individual people is not that big, dude. Like some people have some decent followings, but in general, even for the shows, it's like not that big. Meanwhile, they have a reach of like millions of people. So, but at the same time, we were talking about this earlier. Radio does have this weird reach in that you don't know you're like reaching people almost. You don't know who you're reaching, because when I left DWR, like even when I just left the drive show, a lot of people messaged me who I didn't know them. I'd never met them. They're people who, like, I had to check the other inbox on your what's it called, on your Instagram, you know, you got that other inbox there. Yeah. Like I had to check that one because like I was just getting a ton of messages there from people, because I had no idea who these people were, but they were messaging me just being like, yo, like I'm like bummed you're leaving. And I had no fucking clue that these people knew who I was. Yeah,
that's weird. Like for me, even for me, like I said, I was like 235 followers or something. In fact, I could have like 300 people viewing my profile, but just the other are not like following me or whatever. But then when I come across the people, like for like the people that say won't like shit on Facebook, but then when they see you in person,
they'll tell you your
whole life. And I was like, dude, where the fuck? Like, I never see you.
I was like
it's, you know, so you could never really know who's watching and who's not.
Exactly, because that's the problem, is we measure things by the metrics of like how many people are following us and stuff, because those are important, and like we can see those numbers like in social media versus radio. You know, there are ways that stats are done in that, but like we don't really see those numbers. We don't know how accurate they are. We don't, especially in community radio.
Ooh.
Like, who really knows? You know,
nobody really knows.
It's a good, like, really but so but at the same time, one of the most valuable things is you don't actually know who's like. We value that interaction so much because we're taught to, but not everyone's going to interact with you and they're still going to enjoy your stuff. So, you know, you don't know who's watching, you don't know who's listening. And that's why you remind me of my one friend, Pascal. I'd love you guys to actually meet each other sometime, because he's been this person who's just been like dedicated to the cause of becoming a pilot for the last 10 years of his life. He is a pilot. Like he's now, he's currently flying into Benghazi. Like, he's with the Red Cross, and like, I hope he's still alive. every week I hope he's still alive. But
I could never.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's just his dedication to getting that. Everything he sacrificed. He sold his car. He like fucking the crazy shit. Like these things. Like, I think, but he's succeeded. He's done it. He's a pilot currently flying around the world. He's not the pilot he like wants to be yet, but he's lived an entire life just in pursuit of this goal. And you seem to be doing the same thing. And it's like, it's impressive to watch, and it's impressive to like see it actually start paying off for people. Like when it starts paying off, like,
and even it feels like I was with Njinga. Njinga, because you know
he's still like, you know, he's early in the mornings on.
He's early. Bro, like,
but he's like, he loves it. Like,
yeah. So I remember this one time.
I was with sometime. Shout out to Njinga the Icon.
Yeah, shout out to Njinga the Icon. I actually call him Njinga the Icon. coolest guy in town. Yeah, but see what I did there. Yeah, but with Njinga, I remember me and him when we moved to. It was weeks after. I think I probably have been months. But when we were at our Florida Road studios, and we were just chatting about it, man, being all frustrated and shit, and saying, fuck, when is this shit gonna work out, man? We've been putting this, you know, this amount of work.
The thing is, moving to Florida was amazing. Like, it felt great. It was nice to be like in real studios. But because the Florida Road studios are real studios, but still not getting paid made it really difficult.
It was frustrating, bro. And we were just there. Remember we were looking like through the window at afros and shit, and it's like, bro, we can't even buy fucking afros, man. You know, when is this shit gonna work out?
Having to walk up to Spa every day.
Bro, we used to get those 30 Rand burgers, and even with the 30 Rand was expensive, 2 burgers and chips. The 2 burgers and chips.
So split one between 2 people.
Yeah, bro, you sorted. You know, you're good for the drive, and you just get in there. It was crazy. But anyway.
I mean, it was such a nice step up, and shout outs to Kevin and the team for actually building things up to that level.
That was dope. And then like we were just, you know, staring at, you know, afros and just like talking about shit, and when is shit gonna work out?
Being literally hungry.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks later, and then Jinga, boom, he went to Gagasi and because he went before me. Yeah.
And it's kind of wild for him as well, going from Drive, which is, a solid show. It's
Yeah.
fun. You feel important.
Yeah.
And then from that going to the 1 to 3
But you
slots.
all to pay your dues, man. Even
No, I know,
there.
but that's the crazy thing. It's like he had paid his dues though,
Though,
and then now you have to
you think you've paid your dues until you get to a different setting and realize you've got to pay them
all over again.
So that is what happened
But I
with
mean,
him.
he's a club DJ, so
But he's an
the
award-winning-
1 to 3 thing is fine for him.
Yeah, is an award-winning radio DJ now.
There you go,
And we were chatting. We remember the story. I swear I'm gonna finish it now.
bro. It's cool. We've got time.
So we were being frustrated, and then he left for.
So did that inspire you?
It sure did. And I was like, I think I spoke to.
But I also think like you, him, and Knox were probably like some of the best presenters like at DYR.
DYR.
Like that and V. I love V.
Shout out to
like,
Knox as well.
Yeah,
bruh.
Knox is great. Like yeah,
Knox is amazing. She's also doing stuff at
she's in
Classic
Joburg
FM.
now.
Yeah. Yo, shout out to Knox. Shout out to Knox as well. So yeah, and then I remember fast forward to, and then remember I was at the studio with Njenga DYR, whatnot. And fast forward, we were then at the Gagasi FM studios, and then we reminded I reminded him of the day we were actually speaking about being here, or not being here at Gagas, but just making it out of.
Yeah.
And bro, the joy that you get from looking back and actually saying that you did it. You came in with a plan and you achieved what you came in there for. It's really fulfilling and inspires you to even do
more.
Yeah, to even
you
do
now know
more.
that if you can achieve that,
the steps you took in achieving that goal. You can take the same steps. It might be a different environment setting. You can still take the same steps, be it in a different environment. It's going to lead you to bigger and better things because of the space you're in. You suddenly going to attract different things through being at the space you're at.
yeah, I feel you. For me, it's weird. I don't care about bigger and better things, so that's always been my weird thing. I've always just done the things I wanted to do. Like Durban was yours. I wanted to be a writer. So how do I do that? Well, I guess I'll start writing.
Start up your own shit.
Weirdly enough, I got into radio to get into podcasting. I've always wanted to do this. This has been my goal since I heard Mark Maron.
I feel like,
and with radio, the opportunity came up, and I was like, well, let me utilize this.
Yeah.
And I never, for me, the whole time with DYR was I saw myself there. I never saw myself beyond there because I don't know where else I could go as well. In South African radio, I don't think there's a space for me.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, I don't know. Maybe there is. And maybe I'll find out.
Yeah, maybe
but
there is.
at the same time, I don't see it. And I'm cool with that because radio isn't necessarily my biggest passion. Being on air is kind of like this, but having to,
so you get to do it,
but having to slide in a jingle and do that. I mean, what I like
through the ads and stuff.
I mean, what I like about radio is the urgency. It is the quickness. You don't get to do this, but that's what I like about this is that we do get to do this. So I'd love to do both. I would love to, or maybe just do different kinds of podcast shows, So that's the thing. That is kind of the idea at the moment, is to do more podcasts, different kinds of podcasts,
and maybe different settings as well,
different settings, different structures, man, different everything. So this is one way, and then there's other ways where I might interview 5 people and edit those into one podcast where you use each person's thing to tell a narrative, almost documentary based podcasting. So I don't know, there's lots that I can still do with this, and that's but what I know about myself and what I've realized about myself, but I've always kind of known it, is I don't play well with others. I can be a team player and I will be a good team player,
but you prefer,
but I want to pick my team, and I want to, if I can do it
be
on
in
my
control
own,
of that shit.
Yeah, but that's what's the thing, is I don't want to control other people. So I want to be in control, but I don't want to be the one telling you what to do. I want to just be in control of what's going on. But ideally I'd want no one to be in control, and I would just want everyone to know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about certain projects I've worked on in my life, is that has happened. But as time's gone on, I've just learned to be more self-sufficient and to focus more on my own projects and my own things, because I know that it'll work probably.
Definitely.
Like in this podcast, you know, it's growing slowly,
It
and
is.
I've got no like misunderstandings about the fact that podcasting, while it is the future, it is not the now in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, there's some people who are doing well with it, but they've been doing it for a long time
For a
already.
long time.
For
But they're gonna, like, you know, when like eventually when people catch up, because they're gonna catch up, and it might not be the now in South Africa, but look at in other.
but it's also, there's not just South Africa to think about. I know there's expats
Exactly.
listening to this right now.
Exactly.
So, like, I've looked at the stats I've seen, and I also knew with creating this podcast, it's also why I'm not focused on chatting to celebrities, because I know I could gain a following through that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I just go after famous people, because, you know, people
I
want to know
respect you
about
for that,
famous
bro.
people. But at the same time, I mean, I've chatted to some famous people, but because I would know them and I want to know their story and I want to
Yeah.
get it further, because to me, that's the point of this podcast. Isn't about, you know, just, yeah, that, you know, chatting to famous people on the radio,
Trying to
doing
get-
short and sharp and like whatever. It's the opposite thing. It's about chatting to real people who are doing things that you could probably do. Like the person listening to this now could probably, you know, probably wants to be a radio presenter. Like maybe there are some people, because that's what I'm going to put in this thing, saying, hey, if you want to be a radio presenter, this would be a good way to, you know, a good thing to listen to learn. It's like with the tattoo artist last week that I had, although this will come out next, like, oh, it's gonna be weird because we're actually gonna have an actor in between. But there was a thing, like, you know, it was, hey, like, if you want to get into tattooing, you know, these are all the
These are
things you
the-
can start.
yeah.
And so
And
that's
it's-
why I like doing this, so that I can chat to people who are cool and are doing cool things and are creating good things, good creatives, you know.
Yeah.
But that, you know, are real people. And then with that, I think you've got more likely to develop an audience who is interested in content, not an audience who just wants celebritydom.
Because they've seen the name on the title and they quickly want to jump on that because they might be the hottest artist around. And
Exactly. And I mean, I could be shooting myself in the foot by doing it this way.
yeah, and major respect to you for even doing, because it takes, you know, balls, man, to even do it the way that you're doing it. Like with
I mean, I will eventually have famous people and stuff on here, but like, I'm always going to, like, at the same time, a lot of my friends, like, have become kind of famous.
yeah.
So it makes it a bit
and
easier.
you're also in the space, so it's
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm just saying, I'm never gonna like ask AKA to come be on this podcast. Not that he would ever do it, but I'm just saying, with that philosophy, it's just like,
you'd never know.
hey, maybe
bro.
one day.
You'd never know.
But also,
you
I
might
just,
even be listening to this right now. Yo, AKA, if you're listening, man, and you're in Durban, just come through, man.
yeah, just maybe don't say. Did I like? What was I gonna say though? No, like, what was I saying with that? Like, I did have a real point there, but I think I don't have it anymore. So, fuck. Just the realness versus celebritydom, just radio versus podcasting. It is all different. Like, it is very different. But the thing that I don't like about radio at the moment is just how impersonal it is. Like, you know, people sound like characters, like on air, you know.
And with this thing now with radio, like I feel like a lot of they're not really hiring the people that they should be, you know.
Yeah, like, do
And-
you think radio is getting caught up with social media numbers?
It is. Bro, like radio would hire you just because you have this amount of
Well, I know because it's happened. Like,
this amount of followers, and then the other person
I
doesn't.
think I probably actually might have got hired at DWA
Because of
my
that.
fault. Yeah.
You know, and then what that messes up is then that the people that like the kids who are at, like, people who are at community radio stations who are actually good
Doing
at,
the work,
like
they-
at radio, like actually good at doing radio, but they might not have as many
Look,
followers.
because they're focused on radio, so they're not writing like great tweets, and they're not like going and doing photo shoots. So they're not getting their numbers up on the socials, and so yeah, I mean that is a bit of an issue.
But
Also one of the reasons why like I stopped at DYR was that I realized my passion wasn't that anymore. Like I was like, this isn't the thing that I want to be doing. I'm taking someone's slot.
Yeah.
Like someone else wants to fucking be doing this right now, whereas I want to go home and do what I'm doing with you right now.
Shit.
So like there's that. It sucks that yeah, some people get it, and I do feel that maybe that was one of the reasons why I got in there was based on the strength of my social media and based on the fact that like I could increase DYR's visibility a little bit in certain areas, you know, like I can see
this
that.
area you have. Remember when we had the DYR banners at was it
The festival.
the Winston?
Yeah, but
Winston.
the DYR came on board as media partners for the comedy festival last year.
Definitely increased the brand.
Yeah,
and
but the brand helped a lot with that, like with their festival last year. They were totally on board. They helped me a lot in terms of letting me like use the airtime and stuff. Like, so that's the thing. We didn't get paid by DYR, but I did get to use the airtime for certain things. I did get to use. But that was also the thing. I turned it into a positive for myself. Yeah. So also, I understood it was good for my brand, essentially,
to be associated with those guys.
And to be on air, to have people hearing me talk to them every day. And like I said, I enjoyed it. It got to a point where I realized it wasn't necessarily for me, and that maybe someone else should get to do it, and lots of different things. There were other issues as well, but like definitely not getting into those on a public platform. Yeah. But yeah, dude, like I incredibly appreciative of the time that I had there. And I know you are too.
I am, bro. If it wasn't, I know we speak about it like, you know.
It's an up and down thing because it was emotionally difficult at times, but at the same time, you're living your dream of being on air.
Yeah,
and you're getting to produce real radio. We're producing proper shows, dude. Like with like. Like you listen to DYR, like it doesn't feel like it's this like almost like ragtag team of people, like
one computer.
Yeah, I mean, like nowadays it's not that at all.
Yeah,
like now it's dope, but even there, you know, like you don't know like that. You know, some of the people there are literally it's their first day, like on air. Like,
dude, literally the first day. Go right on air on your first day, no training whatsoever, just thrown in the deep end.
They don't do that anymore though. They've now started training people like properly for that, which is good. Like I'm glad the station's grown in that way. They're suffering in other ways at the moment with their bandwidth, or with just being on air. But hopefully they'll get back on soon. You know,
DYR is I mean, I'd say
an incubator.
Yeah, I'd say for people who want to. I mean, you could look at the people that have came from DYR. Who are on like commercial radio stations even before
Pamela Majola,
bro, a whole host of
and
people.
Even before that, well, how many people I would mention I'm on DYR and they were like, oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah, dude, even bro, like there's so many people in the industry right now. Koloko just recently moved from Gagasi to Kozi FM's biggest radio station probably
in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, it's like second biggest in the world or something. The first being China or something like that. Yeah. This guy was on DYR when I came to I
mean, DYR's got a lot of history. Like was it the Bat Center, Berea Center?
What is it, the workshop and
oh no, but, yeah.
You know,
I meant the workshop when I was saying Bat Center, but yeah.
Yeah, and this guy, he asked me like, where, what's your story? Where you coming from? And I said, DYR. I said I was on the same station.
Because the thing is, it's a platform. Like, then you've got to utilize whatever platform you're given to make the most of it. And I mean, I don't know if I did that, but it definitely helped me figure out what I want to do. So.
I mean, if it wasn't,
and it taught me a skill set that like
if it wasn't for that, you probably would have been doing something like this. But if it wasn't for that, maybe you wouldn't be doing it as you're doing it right now.
I wouldn't have the knowledge, that I have.
Yeah, like certain skills and how to speak into a mic and not getting close to a mic.
Yeah,
and, you know, different types of.
Although I still like. I mean, on air, like I've learned not to be, but you see, for me, I don't project well. So my mic technique's always just been have the mic on your mouth. Like, but that's when you're doing comedy, like live, you can do that.
But on air, you
can't.
But also, if it wasn't for you actually being on radio and being in that setting, you'd never know how to what you
Oh.
might know with comedy and like all your
No, but once again, like I don't. So with comedy, I don't do the fist thing. Like, so essentially, like if for those of you who've never talked on a mic before, you're meant to have the mic about a fist length away
Yeah.
from you, like at least. Like that's typically what makes you comfortable. But for me, with comedy, because I don't project, I keep the microphone in the like right underneath my lip. So like I talk like over the mic essentially, and so it picks it up like directly
up.
like that. Like, but that's maybe I should just actually work on my projection, and then my mic technique will be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But so what's your plans for now, bro? Like what are you working on? What are you doing at the moment? When can people hear you?
Okay, so right now doing weekends. I'm doing weekends. I have 4 different bulletins on Saturday and Sunday. So the first one, I'm just gonna go into details. The first one is at 7:30, and then
In the morning.
in the morning, and the second one is
Yikes.
at 9:30. Yeah, bro, it's crazy having to get there on a Sunday.
And the weekend, oh,
And yeah, bro, and it's just and so 7:30 and then 9:30, and then I've got another one at 4:30 and then 5:30. So both Saturday and Sunday, and then weekdays I'm just usually doing attending press conferences, attending different events, getting different interviews, so that when I'm there on the weekends, and also doing live broadcasts at different stadiums and those type of things. I mean, there's so much more. There's so much stuff that is also in the pipeline. We're looking into getting to. I want to give it away now because but we definitely looking to do more stuff and being more on the ground and because what I realized is
like the power of voice notes means stuff can be quick as well. Like
yeah, man, and you need to take it to the people, man. You need to take it. Like, for instance, if there was a football match that was happening over the weekend and it's now Monday and I'm looking for content for, say, even bulletins in my afternoon bulletins, say
it's been the whole weekend's been covered already. Like,
yeah, the whole weekend. Like, go to the actual people that support the whatever team get opinions from them as well, and
so that way at least your bulletin will sound different. It'll
sound different. Yeah. It's like nobody's doing that. We only care about what the coaches say and but what about the supporters, the people who are there at the stadiums? What about their opinions? And
also that's how radio is going to survive like long term, is making it more personal.
Making it more personal by doing shit that has never been, like, what I see is people are comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, people are comfortable and we are young. We are really hungry and we out to get it, man, in every way, shape, whatever. We just out there to get it. So that's what I'm doing. Weekdays and weekends I'm on air, and then weekdays I'm just on like a field reporter, so I get to send the guys in studio what's happening. I'm in and around, everywhere. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Definitely looking into taking it a bit, higher, but I still have to do my time right now where I'm at and whatever. But I mean, it's,
But now that you've made it here, you know that you can make it further.
Anyway, but I envision myself at a Sky Sports, and the Sky Sports is, I know, as like the biggest.
Yeah, pretty much. I think
it's the biggest. I
mean, I don't know. You know better than I do.
Yeah, it's the biggest in the world. I'm trying to make it there. So I'm not even. I mean, a super sport is fine. I mean, a super sport is lovely. A super sport is lovely. But I mean, I'm not saying that to say, okay, this is where I want to,
You want to go for the biggest.
I want to go I want to go as high as I possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, the saying, if you, aim for the stars, you might land on the moon. So.
Yeah. I wish we can come back to this a few years later.
Oh, dude, we're gonna do this again. Yeah. Like in 5 years' time, it's gonna be cool to see where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see if I'm still doing it in this room and just how this room looks.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna constantly be updating the studio, and
and it looks pretty damn good, man. I must say, it looks really, really, really good.
Yeah, man, I'm super, like, it took like a long time to find the right place.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, dude, like over a year, because I
That's it,
didn't
yeah.
want, and just price range everywhere I looked just wasn't really possible. It was either just too shit or too expensive, and so I just waited and waited and
Until
then
you found
endured my shitty little place for a long time, and then this like came up and it's within the price range, and so I'm very lucky and I'm very grateful that it's a 1.5 bedroom place. So this is actually the bedroom.
Yeah,
I'm sleeping
an
I'm
office.
I'm sleeping in the half bedroom, and I've
Is
turned the 1 bedroom into the
it's
office here.
Really proper, bro.
And I'm
It's
hoping it like eventually becomes like Mark Maron's garage, and like like it'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm
it'll
sure
be cool.
it's gonna get there. It's just
So-
timing, bro.
Yeah, it's just
Everything
it's
is
also
on
it's a
time.
matter of perseverance, and it's a matter for me. The cool thing with this is like there isn't a bigger goal. Like more people listening. That's it. That's the goal. I'm doing the thing I want to do already. I want to do it better. I want to make it better. I want
Just more
to.
people listening.
But at the end of the day, the only real goal with this thing is to do what I'm doing with it. Is to have conversations with people that I want to have conversations with. Like, that's it. I mean, I did have one incident where someone suggested someone, and like on the day they like cancelled, and like I was just like,
Remember how pissed off we were when Shane Eagle was meant
he
to
was
come
late.
to the studio, and he was late, and then
we
done
like
with the whole
the show was finished. There was
and
another
then
show
he came
afterwards.
through, it's
Like,
no, dude, you messed up.
but so many artists were late. Fucking
bro.
so like. The number of artists that are late for radio interviews, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. Like, it's radio. Do you not
That's
get
how seriously people take their
But
craft.
do you not get do you not get how radio works? It's not like there's an infinite amount of time.
You
Like,
have this amount of time, and you have to be here.
the show is from 3 to 6. The segment is at 3:15 until 3:38. Like,
You can't do
well, not
interviews after that.
Yeah, like, yeah, in between that, I've got to do these 2 ads, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. So we're going to chat for 4 minutes now. I'm going to play your song,
Bruh.
and then we're going to chat for a little bit after that. And that's
it's
it.
done.
That's
It's
it.
done, bro.
So if you now arrive 4 minutes late, you don't have your 4 minutes. Like, now we're playing a song, and you've got 3 minutes. Like, so yeah, just take yourself more seriously, and that's something you've done, and it's led you down this path. And thank you very much, bro. I really appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
I love
man.
getting to hang out with you.
Thank you, man. This was really awesome.
Definitely one of my favorite things about being a DWR was meeting a lot of the people that I met, and definitely meeting you. We've hung out a lot over the years, and it's been
Definitely, bro.
a good time.
Away. I really appreciated being here, man. I mean, wish you the best of luck with everything that you're doing, bro.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Away.